I remember when I was like, I became an electronics technician in the military. I had no idea about anything electronics. So I was just like, that job I have no idea anything about. That's the one I'm going to do. And so when I did it, I was like, man, I was failing in classes. I was like, man, this is really hard. I don't understand this.
I can't remember there was a dream I had not too long ago where I want to say it was like a couple nights ago, and I woke up and I was like, yeah, I handled that. And I was like, it had that feeling. I couldn't remember the dream, but I had that feeling like I took care of that. Like, I don't know if it was a fight. I don't know if it was like.
Was it a warrior dream?
Maybe.
Did you feel like you're maybe a warrior in the dream?
I don't know. It's just one of those things where like, when you wake, I don't know. I just woke up with like a really like accomplished feeling.
Yeah.
You ever wake up like that? Like you kind of wish you remember what the hell was I dreaming about? Yeah. That way you can be like translate it to real world.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like that all the time.
Yeah.
The times that I do remember my dreams, it's always some kind of like conquest dream. So the times that I don't, and then I wake up feeling like that, I'm like, probably had a conquest.
Yeah.
Some kind of, I don't want Carl Jung to look deep into my dreams.
Yeah.
You know who that guy is?
No, I don't know who that guy is.
He's like a psychotherapist that wrote books about dreams.
Oh, so if you tell him your dream, he's going to be like, I can tell you what your problem is.
Yeah.
Or your strengths.
Yeah. I'm not going to spill the beans to those guys, but I have a lot of like, where I'm like, I don't know, like in Rome kind of dreams.
Yeah.
Like conquer, kind of doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But it's usually like involving space, and it's involving civilizations that don't exist.
Yeah.
And it's very brutal most of the time.
I have like I think about like theories and stuff like that, right? Where if you dream, you're you're dreaming of a past life or an alternate life. Mm-hmm. Like I always think about those things. Are we like kind of tapping into that a little bit? Like, is there you know how like there's a multiverse and the DC universe and the Marvel universe is the multiverse? Mm-hmm. Like I think about that stuff. It's like, are we dreaming, or are we like experiencing somebody else's like actual life?
Yeah, I wonder. What do you think that your past life was? If you could think of one, what do you think maybe most likely could have been a past life?
Honestly, I gravitate towards, and I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but I remember when my aunt was teaching me a little bit about the Bible, and she talked about like angels that would come down, take human form. At the beginning, they were like very nice and everything, but they kept growing and getting bigger until they become like destructive. And I'm like, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, just because like in my head, I'm like, I'm a nice guy, but then like I have like these dark thoughts. I'm like, what if I was that? One of those. It's weird. You asked the question, man.
Yeah, that's interesting. There's a book. It's like the Book of Enoch. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it.
Okay. In that book, there's like 3 different books in it, and those angels, I can't remember the names exactly of them, but they are written about in like the books. And a lot of people kind of reject the idea that there was angels walking on earth that were like among humans, but like way more giant and like way more physically like capable of like carrying giant things and conquering stuff, and they're just like walking with people. It's interesting idea.
I'd love to take a look at that book, because I hear it brought up in Joe Rogan podcasts all the time. And then you look at all these like historic things, like why are there so many big doors in ancient civilizations? There's like huge doors. In like the Roman times and like the pyramids, like they have these huge door structures. Yeah. Like for who? Yeah. Yeah.
It's like Lord of the Rings. Like, was it for like the trolls? Or was it for the giant angels? Yeah. What do you think you look like if you were one of those giant angels? What do you think that you would have looked like?
Super hairy for sure.
Very hairy.
Yeah, because I feel like I grow hair everywhere.
Okay.
And then probably just, I don't know. It's interesting. I haven't really thought about how. I think normal, like how I do now, just like taller, bigger, more like something they like you said they had like natural strength where like you just pick something. I was like, oh, I can do that. You know,
Yeah, I'm trying to imagine right now. I'm trying to AI write a picture of you right now, where you're just like a giant, exactly the same. Do you have wings, or are you just really strong?
No. Okay. That's the thing. I've never imagined myself with wings.
Okay.
Because I think, and there could be a story out there, or a theory out there, or just some stories where, I feel like if angels ever came down, I think they would sacrifice their wings to do that. Like they wouldn't have their wings anymore. Like you see all these shows where like there's angels and they show their wings because they're hidden and they like fly off. I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think that would happen that way.
Yeah. I feel like it wouldn't be worth it to give up your wings to be on Earth. You have wings. Yeah. Where do you give those up to be just on Earth with a bunch of people and just be bigger than them?
Well, then you start going down that road is like, why, if they did, why would they want to, right?
Yeah.
So, I could be wrong. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But
I don't know.
God gave us free will.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
We're God's favorite children. Mm-hmm. Angels get jealous. The whole idea of why the devil came down here and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like, why would an angel cut off their wings to go be like us? Because they want to be like us. And we want to be like them. Yeah. It's always grass is greener on the other side, man.
Yeah. I think they talked about this. Did you ever watch the cartoon Hercules?
Yeah.
They were like talking about how the gods were jealous of mortals because they could die, and they were trying to like be like them. So then is that how Hercules came about? He's like Zeus's son that came to Earth or something like that.
In the cartoon, I thought it was like Hera and Zeus had a kid, and then Hades was like, I'm going to kill your kid, but I got to make him human first. That's a cartoon version. In like actual Greek mythology, I'm pretty sure Zeus was like stepping out on his wife Hera and like mating with the humans, and that's how you get demigods.
Okay.
So. Not because Hades, but they played it. They did a kid friendly version for Disney. But.
Zeus was kind of over like the really big ladies. He was going for the much smaller human ladies.
Yes, I don't know, something along the lines like he can. I don't know. He was spreading a seed in that way, and I don't know. There could be other reasons why. I honestly think in my head like we were given the freedom of free will to create these stories and do this stuff and to translate things different ways. Like we can go down that road, and we'll talk about why we're doing this another recording right now. But we can go down that road. Like there's in China, there's stories and depictions of dragons, right? Same thing in Mexico. Like two completely opposite sides.
So
how did that happen? Because I think there was dragons, or maybe not dragons, but dinosaurs. Like people are saying, like, hey, these dinosaurs used to be dragons, but we're translating it scientifically as dinosaurs. But when you look at their hands and how small the T-Rexes are, it could have been wingspan.
But have they found wings besides like pterodactyls, like the?
And you know what? And that's just I don't know enough about that. Okay. But to me, it's like maybe pterodactyls were just a little bit more obvious, But I mean, you look at a chicken, they can't fly, but yet if you see their bones, or like they have wings, they have like little hands, like a bat.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Have you seen the TV show House of the Dragon? It's like the spinoff of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
They got a lot more dragons.
Way more dragons.
Yeah.
Because before they go extinct or slaughtered or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. The idea of like people, I mean, doubt it's like that where you're like they're riding them and stuff, but just having like dragons kind of patrolling and like feeding where there's like some sheep. Yeah. That would be terrifying.
That would be. It'd be a different world, and I can see why lifespans would be shorter. I can see why the doors would be made bigger. Dragons had to walk through something, right?
Yeah, like we want the dragon to come inside whenever he wants. So let's just make a big door.
Yeah, and you think about it, it's like if you had him as a pet, is it an indoor dragon, outdoor dragon?
Oh yeah, how to train your dragon. Okay, now I like where we're going.
That'd be funny. So we're here today recording. This is our second time recording. We didn't post the first one. It's still available if you want to post it just to see what happens. But there's a setting on the interface where it created an echo effect. So here we are to talk about. Hopefully, I remember everything we talked about, but we can aim for this recording to be like highlighting whatever you want, right? So you got a book, you're a realtor, and then I feel like there's a couple of things that you brought up too. You traveled quite a bit already, and at, what are we in the same age? 35, 34?
34, yeah.
I'm 35. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm 36.
Okay. All right. Well,
Damn, dude.
You just jumped a year real quick.
Yeah. So introduce yourself. Yellow camera is yours.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Well, hello. Thank you, Miguel, for having me again. My name's Abraham, and so right now I'm a realtor in the Central Coast, and over the summer I wrote a book called Beyond the Infusion, and it is a book about healing and energy recovery while you're going through chemotherapy. And that's something I'm very passionate about and excited to share more about, is just a reminder for people that are going through any kind of disease as well as cancer that they are in control of their body and the decisions that are made. I just feel like when you see a doctor, like a lot of your free will kind of like, you feel like you give it away. You feel like you're like, all right, the doctor's here to save me. I'll just do whatever the doctor says. And you kind of forget about your participation in the fight of the disease, and how like the doctors are practicing medicine. So there's no, if there was a cure for everything, then they wouldn't be practicing. They'd just be giving you the pill that fixes you. And so it's just kind of like the book is like a reminder that to do what you feel is best for you, and to make the decisions that you align with, and to kind of just know that you are absolutely in charge of your own body and your own sickness, like taking full responsibility that in the end it's your body. Yeah. It's your choices that you got to make. So that's kind of the big idea behind the book. It has a bunch of suggestions and ways to help heal and regain energy while you're going through chemotherapy. But these resources, I mean, it's not like I'm coming up with something new. These are all already out there. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of compiled into a book. But it's something that I saw with my mother when she was going through her battle with cancer, and while she was going through chemo, is just a very hard. It's a very scary experience, and you want to live, and it's like how much you have in control. You feel like you're really out of control, and the more that you give that up, when you're like just really have faith in your doctor, it takes away from you being able to be like, hey, this isn't working, so I should look for something else. So it was just like a long time that she stayed with the same doctor the whole time, 3 years, and she wasn't getting better. So for me, it was like, hey, let's go. What are the other options? It's not working. So what else is there? And it was just kind of like a stuck in the mindset. And she was very strong, very, very strong-willed, very healthy, very good at taking care of herself. But even with that, it was like, it's hard to be reminded when you just get a chemical that just like weakens you in your mind, in your body, in your spirit. And then you're kind of like chemo brain, and then someone's telling, hey, this is what you're going to do next. And it's easier to just be like, yeah, that sounds, I guess, right. So this book is not an answer to anything. It's just like a reminder that there are things available to you that are so available and so easy to attain, to just help you with your spirit, help you with your strength and recovery while you're going through something as difficult as fighting cancer and going through chemotherapy.
Yeah, it's interesting that we talk about these things as if like we lose ourselves in exchange for somebody else giving us answers, right? Mm-hmm. And I was talking to another person where we were talking about even politics is the same way. You know, we rely on politicians to make decisions for us. We're looking at teachers, education. You know, we rely on key people, like certain people, to like make those educational decisions for us. We kind of start stepping away from being involved in our kids' education that way because we're so busy on trying to like at least just pay the bills. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's like, how do we reset? How do we reset those things? Like there's multiple layers, right? And what your mom went through and what you went through, that's like a life or death scenario. But what about, let's start smaller and build up from there, because like it can be as simple as like what you put in your mouth, what you're eating, last night I put one too many slices of bread in my mouth. It's just, I think about those things, but then it kind of dominoes to the bigger, more life altering things, which could be healthcare, financial, so when you wrote this book, was it during or after?
It was after.
It was after?
Yeah, it was after. It was like, it was about 2 years after she passed away. I had gone sailing. I bought a sailboat with my friend, and we sailed from Florida to Panama. And those that much time when you're like in the ocean and got nothing, no stimulus, nothing to distract you. You're on night watch, and it's just like pitch black sky, the most glorious stars ever. There's no sound besides like the wind in the water. You really have nothing to look out there. You really just like look at what's going on inside. And so that was like a really good opportunity for me to just really think about what do I want to do with this? Like I saw what it was, and I studied a lot because I wanted to help my mother. And how can I not just waste this and just forget about it and just kind of move on? So I spent time just like kind of collecting and just be like, all right, this is the stuff that I studied. And it also was hard to think about because it was what killed my mom. So just spending so much time thinking about it, what took her out, and it's just like, you have to just keep reminding yourself, why am I doing this? It's to help others. It's to remind other people about this, and go to your point about where you start seeing those patterns. In my experience, when you do something without thinking about it, is like the smallest thing, just any kind of habit, anything you do. When you wake up, what is the first thing that you do without even thinking about it? When you take those small little things and then you start thinking about, why am I doing that? It empowers you to make either a different choice or to be like, yeah, that's what I want to do. And it's so easy to just be an autopilot, and just my brain is so fried on the complexities of the world. We're so overwhelmed with so much. I don't want to think about what I'm doing. But those little things that you do compounds to the life that you live and how you living it. And if there's like one thing that you're seeing that you wish what wasn't going on, well, then you just got to immediately be like, all right, what am I doing automatically? What are my first reactions to things I'm not really putting thought to? And usually you'll start seeing where that is, where that empowerment could be helping you. I'm just like,
so
changing.
As you did the research to eventually write that book, because I'm assuming you were doing the research, but did you have the book in mind? Like it was going to be a book, or was it just research first?
Yeah. It was just research first.
Okay.
I was just like trying. I came back. I got my dream job in Florida to be a boat captain in I think it was Biscayne National Park. Biscayne, I think so. And it was like northern Key West, the Keys. And I got it, and then I called my mom, and she was like, yeah, everything's good over here. And I was like, yeah, I mean, are you sure everything's okay? It'd been 3 years of her going through cancer, and I'd been gone. I was there for a bit, but I'd been gone, didn't really monitor or see what's going on. So I was just taking her for her word about, yeah, everything's good. And I just had a gut feeling that something was not good. She was like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, everything's fine. And then I was like, I just have a feeling I should come home. And she's like, no, don't do that. You got your dream job. You're living your life. You're an adult. Don't come home. And I was just like, I'm gonna think about this for a couple of days, and I'm gonna call you. And like I didn't even take a couple of days. It was the next day. I was like, I just have to go home. I don't know why, but I think I gotta go home. And when I came home, I just immediately was like, holy crap, this is horrible. And so my first mission was like, gotta save my mom. So I was just like studying everything to try to like get her out of what she was going through. And it was about 3 months of just doing everything I can, but she had already been, so the cancer had metastasized and it was all over her. And there was just really nothing until just one day I was like taking care of her, and she's like, hey, I just want you to know I don't want to live anymore. And I want you to help support me in that. And I was just like, my heart just dropped out of me. And I was like, had to take a minute, and I was like, okay, I have to honor you and tell you I understand and I will support you. And I did. It was just very hard to do. Yeah. And then I had to just flip-flop. So no more vitamins and no more things.
And just let it take its course.
Just like, what do you want? She's like, I want painkillers and soda. I'm like, all right, let's help you die, Mom. And she was just like, whatever, just make her as comfortable as possible as she was as she was going through that. And that was just like very hard to see the strongest person just tell me that was it. And just, have you gone through something like that?
My sister's dad was in my life since I was like 4, so I call him Dad. Mm-hmm. And he passed away in 2017, but it was very similar. He didn't say out loud. He you can definitely tell he gave up, but he got diabetic. He became a diabetic. He got I guess he got something infected on his toe or something to the point where they had to amputate his legs before they got into his bloodstream. That's a lot of diabetics would tell you, is like any little cut takes forever to heal, so you got to make sure you take care of it. And then fast forward to like the last like 3 months of his life, he was like all bloated, like he was very like inflamed, like what's it called, where like your organs are just like not working correctly. And like the last few days, I got a call from my brother or something. He's like, hey, Dad's in the hospital again. It doesn't look good. He was just, but he constantly kept drinking the soda, even though he was diabetic. He kept doing this. And, the last couple days, I remember visiting him, and he was telling me, he's like, I'm going to turn my life around. We both knew it was too late, but we kind of like, we humored it a little bit. I was like, yeah. And then he also told my brother the same thing. And then 2 days later, the rest of his organs just started to fail because the doctor said they couldn't do anything. So they told him, do you want to stay in the hospital or do you want to go home? That's pretty much it. And he goes, I want to go home. The unfortunate part is my sister was like his daycare, his caretaker. So she was the one trying to keep him alive. She was the one like giving medication, doctor's appointments, everything. So when his organs failed and he collapsed, she was the one there seeing him take his last breaths as she's trying to keep him alive. Yeah. Like CPR and everything. So when I got there, I was like, there he is on the floor. And it's interesting because like in my head, like I always think to myself, like if I ever feel like I'm getting near that point where like I don't, there's no point to life kind of thing, I get that glimpse of him, of him not caring enough to like take care of himself. Like honestly, like I was away for work as well, so I wasn't there to like have these conversations with him and like kind of motivate him. But at the same time, like would it have made a difference, right? Your mom made an ultimate decision. He made a silent but ultimate decision as well to not take care of himself and keep going down that road. And my sister was probably the only one trying. And me and my brother was like, let us know if you need anything, So it was very tough. I didn't think I was gonna miss him as much as I did when it happened. But I think about him every day. But yeah, I get what you're saying when they kind of make that hopefully conscious decision of not wanting to try to fight it anymore. Yeah, I definitely felt. Well, I saw it too. That she's like, all right, I'm ready to go. And then she was holding on for other people. So she was like, already like, hey, I'm done here. But it was like her processing, like letting go of all those relationships and all those people that depended on her and everything, all the attachments to life
I was watching it because I was basically her sole caretaker the last 4 months. So I got to have all those conversations. I got to have that very intimate time with her, like watching this happen.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. She's like, hey, I want everyone to visit me that wants to see me, but there's no one that I really need to see. She was just saying that for other people.
Yeah.
But that was letting her like, all right, they saw me, I can let it go. They saw me, I can let it go. And so once she felt like all of it was gone, she just was like checked out, and it was just like, just the air was like pushing air inside of her, and it was just like, all right, so now we're pushing air into her, but she's not here. So that was when I had to like call my siblings and just let them know, hey, I'm gonna take her off air, and this is gonna be it.
Yeah.
And so it was. That's what we did. I took off her air, and we put on the song "Amazing Grace," which was her favorite song, and then she passed away in the morning. But it was like at that point where, you know, it was your sister that was like trying to keep him alive.
Yeah.
And it's like we were using the air, the oxygen, and we were like, okay, this is the point where this person is only alive because of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm prolonging this.
Yeah.
And it's for your sister, I'm sure it was like a very hard letting go experience of like trying to save someone that's gone.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely like very deeply emotional feeling, because you're like, it's only for me. This person's not here.
Yeah, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Like, I can only imagine just years after, even today, the thoughts that go through your head, you know, thinking back at those kind of things. Like, I had the pleasure of having a conversation with him before, you know, and it was more in high spirits because he said, you know, I want to turn it around. But I mean, just if we had a conversation of like, all right, are you giving up, Dad? Like, this is it? Because you're home. Doctor says he can't do anything. What's going on? Like, what do you want to do? He didn't ask for people to visit him or anything. I just, you know, that's it. He spent the next few days at the apartment that we're at, and I got a call. It's 10. I think it was like 10:17 a.m. And I'm like, I gotta go. And then, yeah. So I wouldn't wish going through that for anybody, but sometimes it's like one of those things. Like, that's how she wanted it. That's how he wanted it at the end. You know, he could have stayed at the hospital, and they would have, like, you know, all right, call time, whatever. Mm-hmm. But, you know,
do you ever think about your last conversation? Is that what the last conversation was?
It was. He wants to turn his life around.
Okay.
He's, you know.
So do you replay that conversation?
Really? Yeah, I replay it all the time. It happens mostly when I'm probably going through like somewhat of a tough time, and you know, when I think about hard work, I think about my parents, because they, you know, before I woke up, they were gone to work, you know, and then by the time it was dinner time, they were barely getting back, you know. Mm. So for me, it's like hard work is like, I don't know what hard work is. So when it comes to the only way I can describe it is probably depression. It's like, I don't know what depression is because I saw what it was with him. Like, so when I feel a little down, I put a little music, I can get myself out of it. Mm. But him, like, I don't know. Like, that's one thing I never really understood. Is like, I wish he would have fought harder, you know? Mm-hmm. That's where my brain goes, and that's probably where that book comes from too. Is like, you wish you would have somebody should have fought harder, or at least like given the option to, or told him, hey, you have the option to keep fighting.
Yeah, I think that my motivation is just to bring awareness that's an option.
Yeah, that
it's an option to just say, I'm just going to listen to the doctor. It's an option to be ignorant. It's an option to inform yourself. Those are your own personal options. Yeah. Those are choices that you make every day. So my book is just bringing awareness, like, hey, you have choices.
Yeah.
And, you know, my mom is a smart woman. She made her choices, and I respect her and her choices and how she did them. If it was me, my choices would maybe be the same, maybe be different. I don't know. You can't judge someone on their decisions when they're going through something like that. It's unless you're going through the same thing and you have the same exact history in life as them, it's hard for you to say anything other than like, I support you, because in the end, like they're doing whatever they think is best. They're trying to survive.
Yeah.
So it's a scary thing, and it takes a lot of understanding.
Yeah. Yeah. Not everybody knows what somebody else is going through, and when you do start telling them a version of a story that you have currently, because it can change down the road, right? Hindsight 2020. And I feel like the worst thing you can do is try to give them answers right then and there. Like, you have to listen to them first. You have to like acknowledge that the story exists, and then go from there. Because there's been plenty of times like where, like right now I'm going through a divorce, right? I have the kids majority of the time, and it's hard, dude. Having them like almost 100% of the time, and being able to do this, being able to go work in Lemoore on the weekends and manage a movie theater, being able to like network and stuff like that. Like, and my time is structured around the kids now, when before, like I had somebody to fall back on a little bit. Now I'm like, man, this is hard. The bedtime routines and everything like that. So when I talk to other people about it, they're like, oh, well, why don't you do this and this? And I'm like, okay, thanks. That doesn't help me at the moment, but I appreciate it. So when and I'm sure you've had those moments like, you don't understand, you know. For me, like with my father, it's different. My sister had it different. I can't understand what she went through, because she went through it way different than I did. My brother was different than I. You're different than me. Like, we're different from each other. But there's always that need for us to like find these connections and like try to relate so we can understand each other better. You know? And that's where my brain goes when you talk about the book, is like, you want people to find that connection so they have options, that for sure. Because you're not gonna like go and shove it in their face like, hey, your husband or your wife or your kid or yourself has cancer. Here you go, try this. This is an answer. You know, you said yourself. Yeah. It's not an answer, but yeah, it's funny that I don't know what triggered me right now. It's like people don't understand, and people will never understand. But the only thing that gets them as close as possible is to come on a podcast and talk about it. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's important to try to relate to other people. That's very important to do. But within that, you still have to know that we can relate as much as we possibly can, but there's still going to be differences. Yeah. And that's what makes us human, which we can relate to the most. Yeah. We are human beings. We are. That's where we can just say that's for sure. Yeah. We're human beings. But besides that, everything else is just, you can get as close as you can to trying to relate to people. I've given up of trying to relate my story. I don't find it like super necessary. I'd rather just get to know the person for their experience and hear their story, because it doesn't do justice to be like, oh yeah, they're like, oh yeah, I skinned my knee and it really hurt. It was the worst experience. I'm like, oh yeah, well, I ripped my kneecap off my leg. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of like, it's better to take the story and take the experience as like that's that person's experience. Yeah. As a completely new and unconditional thing that's not connected to me. It's like, I kind of know what you're talking about. Yeah. But your life is different than mine. Yeah. That's just my personal philosophy, is kind of around that.
Speaking of different lives, you now lead a different life. Well, first question that pops in my head is, why didn't you go back to sailing after your mom passed away? Like, what was the transition there? You went sailing. You got inspiration to do the research. I sailed created a book after she passed away. Yeah, you sailed after you passed away, but you got a job in Florida before that?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. So, what made you stick around this area?
Why did I come back from sailing? Because once we got to Panama, and we just had like a bunch of problems with the boat, and it just kept breaking, and we kept trying to sail, and it just turned into just a money pit. And we were like, hey, so we're still young. We can still like do some things in life. Yeah. Maybe we should come back when we're like really old, like all these other guys who are just like really old. They got nothing going on in their lives besides their sailboat. We're like, well, we're young and we can do a lot more. So we're gonna just sell the boat and move back. So I came back here because my siblings are in the area.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to be around family because I was gone for so long. I was in the military and I was hitchhiking and then sailing, and I was just I wasn't around. I'm the oldest, so I wasn't really around for a long time watching my siblings grow up and go through life. I was absent. I was out there just being a crazy guy, pretty much. So I'm here, and it's just to be nearby and let them know I'm here. And when they're ready to have a relationship, I'm here, and I'm anchoring myself with this real estate career. And so that's why. It's just because of my family, not for any other reason.
Okay.
It's also beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of
not bad, right?
Awesome spot.
Yeah.
I do like Florida a lot, and I do like Colorado a lot as well. But it's my family's here, so I'm staying.
So what got you into real estate? Like, what was the foot in the door situation?
Yeah, well, the foot in the door was I had no idea about anything in real estate. Okay. And I'm just a curious person. Yeah. So I just was like, hey, I have no idea about anything about real estate. And my friend was talking to me about real estate all the time. And I was like, yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about. So I just deep dove and started learning about it, and then just took a course and a class, and then I was like, all right, I can get licensed. And then I just saw it as a good opportunity to be anchored in an area. Being new, it's very hard there's like everyone is a realtor, it seems like. Yeah. There's just so many.
I think once you're in that world, it's like, when you drive a specific car and now you notice other people have the same car.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's one of those things, like you choose a career and all of a sudden, everybody else has a career.
Yeah. It does seem like that. And I didn't know there's like crazy numbers. There's like in this area, there's like over 8,000 realtors. And there's not enough population for that to be like, that's a small number. That's a pretty large amount.
Yeah.
So I find it a challenge that I'm like enjoying, because a lot of people just kind of give up on it when they realize what they're against and what you have to put into, of just like fruitless labor. Yeah. You just got to be okay with like just working and not having expectations, which I am very good at doing. So it's something that I find myself enjoying, and something that I can help people with, just because I had years where I had no home, and it's just, I know the value of having it. And it's like, all right, yeah, I know the struggles and what it means to like, to have a place, and what it means for a family and for your memories and all that. A home is a big deal. So I like to be part of that.
I don't know if you mentioned this in the podcast here or the last one, but you mentioned you know what it's like not to have a house. Can you expand on that? Like, what time frame was that when you were a kid? Obviously, you were sailing, so there was a moment where you didn't really have a house. And and for the sake of like potentially getting wrong, is it homeless or unhoused?
Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, my dad couldn't keep a job, so we were moving from places like every 1 month to, we might have stayed somewhere a year. But in between that time, we would stay in like a tent. So my brother and my sister and my mom and dad, we'd be like sleeping in a tent on someone's property. And that was like, all right, well, can't wait it's raining outside, kind of sucks. Yeah. I wonder what other people are doing right now. And there was like, when I was real small, we lived in cars. I was like a backseat baby kind of thing. And then when I was going through high school, I got booted from my mom's house after my freshman year. And then I was with my father in Redding. And then we got kicked out of a house after a few months. And then we're like living in his truck. And he was just not good. And throughout high school, then my mom a year later was like, hey, you can stay in my garage. And then I was like, I want to play baseball. and football. And so then I went to another school. And then my dad kicked me out of that house. And I was sleeping in my car at the high school in the parking lot.
Oh, man.
And there was like times when I was like, you know, sleeping outside and sleeping in cars. But there was also like times when like a good buddy was like, hey, you can stay at my house. And that guy's dad would kind of be like, hey, you can stay here, no problem. And for me, it was like a good representation. It's like, oh, this is like a good fatherly figure here, and isn't is teaching his son good things, and he's like providing, and it's safe here. I'm not outside. And so it was like he was giving me glimpses of good male role models as I was growing up, and realizing that like my dad just isn't a great role model for me. I have to like learn from others, otherwise my future is not going to look so great. So it was going from that, and then I was like 17, and I started working at Food for Less, and I got started renting an apartment. That was like my first time of like, all right, it's been a while since I've had my own bed.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna enjoy this. And then from then on, it was a few years that I was like staying pretty solid. Went through college and was getting help, and then that's pretty much like the homeless experience. Like it was in and out of homes and in cars and whatnot. I was just trying to. My real big goal was like to finish school. I really wanted to graduate, not go to a continuation school. I wanted to have friends and graduate from school. I went to 3 different high schools. Hard to make new friends, but at least I graduated, and I graduated on time. And for me, that was important. I was like, who cares how I got here? I freaking made it.
Yeah.
It's like my own personal, it's a win.
No, it's a good win. It's crazy. Like I don't think I ever had a moment where I felt like we didn't have a place. I remember when I was a kid, we were sleeping in a garage, and there was like a TV with the VHS set up, you know, and we would watch Speed Racer all the time. We'd rent it, watch it, take it back, rent it again. It was Speed Racer. I don't remember any episodes now. I was like 4 years old back then. And I remember like rainy night or rainy morning, I can't remember. We finally got an apartment, and I just I don't remember not having. I do have a fear though that I wouldn't be where I'm at today. Like it's weird. Like what if something happens, or what if I mess up that bad? Like I become like homeless. Like I have that weird, and that fear popped in my head when I was 18. And it hasn't gone away. Like I still get, I have 2 kids, we have a house right now. Like it's just all these things like, okay, but it's a lot of hard work. But that hard work is like, okay, that fear's still there. Even, no matter what I do, it's like the fear's still there. I'm not sure if other people have that same fear where like, what if I can't make it in this world and we're homeless, especially with today and how crazy everything is and how expensive everything is. Yeah. At some point you go like how much harder do you have to work?
Yeah. Why do you think you had, so you weren't married, you didn't have any kids when you were 18, right?
Right, yeah.
So you just, when you're 18, what you don't know what caused that fear, or was there something you saw that was like, don't ever want to be like that?
It's probably something I saw because I did the opposite. I actually moved out as soon as I turned 18 and like got a full-time job, got my own apartment. Like just, there was nothing telling me that's your only choice. Like I could have stayed home. I could have continued to college. I could have done all the stuff. But in my head, I'm like, I'm 18. I can handle it now. And I went off. But at the same time, that fear was like there. So I don't know if like my brain was just like, okay, do the extra work so that way you'll never feel like you're not doing enough. And I think that's what like motivated a lot of my like 18 to like probably like 25. And then after that I was like, okay, I don't have that fear as much, but now it's like different fears. 2 kids, I fear life ending sooner rather than later because like I have something to live for more, Yeah,
well, it's definitely like you're in the mama's nest. And then you're the bird that goes off, and you're like, all right, can I make it? Yeah. Can I do it and get myself safe? And so it's like it's a growing experience. I think that's I think a lot of people have those fears, because when you're going off on your own after being home, and you're like, all right, it's me, it's my wits, I got to make this happen. Mm-hmm. Hopefully I'm good enough to figure it out. And it's definitely a driving factor, a motivating force that puts you into a position where you're like, I'm doing whatever it takes to make it work.
Right.
So I think that's very understandable. A lot of people have that.
And as I get older, I also notice a lot of people don't have it figured out. Older than me. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of people like that. Mm-hmm. Like you were telling me the story about how like your father can't hold a job or something like that. And I think to myself, it's one of those things where like, what I mean, obviously I don't know him. I don't know if I'll ever know him, but it's like, it goes through my head like, you asked the question, why couldn't he hold a job? You know, I'm sure you asked yourself that. It's like, why can't dad just freaking handle it? Mm-hmm. You know? And so when I meet other people and they you know, they're good people. Like I tell them, I like to tell people like, hey, I like you. You're good. You know, like let's stay friends. Let's not lose connection or whatever. I tell people that all the time. But I've noticed when there's something that happened when they were a kid, there's something that happened in their adult life that just makes them go, I can't handle it. And they go, you know, and they just, you can definitely tell in their brain, like they've never wanted to break through that, whatever it is that they're going through. And that's why I feel like so many people right now are like, you know,
but
it can get dangerous.
Yeah. Well,
you know?
it's, I think a lot of it has to do with your self-confidence.
Yeah.
And your belief and your self-belief that, you know, that you can figure it out.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it has to do with your resilience and your ability to take on hard problems. Mm-hmm. That has a lot to do with, I think, parenting as well as just like enabling your child to face hard things. And even though it's like sucks to watch your kid struggle, it's an opportunity for them to grow and be more self-confident that they can do hard things. I think that's where a lot of that comes from, where you like give up because it's hard. I remember when I became an electronics technician in the military. I had no idea about anything electronics. So I was just like, that job I have no idea anything about. That's the one I'm going to do. And so when I did it, I was like, man, I was failing in classes. I was like, man, this is really hard. I don't understand this. And so I was like, you know, I have to learn this. This is my job. I have to persevere. I can't just give up. So spent extra hours in like study halls. I just knew I had to learn differently. I had to learn more. I had to spend more time learning. And then I was able to overcome that and be the top of my class. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, how crazy that is. Like for something that was like the hardest thing for me in the world, all of a sudden I'm like the best at it. That was just one of those lessons for me. I'm like, good. I saw it as a hard thing and was like, okay, let's learn. And that ability it takes a special kind of person to be able to see it and be like, I really need to dig my heels in here and take this on instead of like turn 2 and walk away, which is easier to do, much easier.
So let me ask you this. Did you know how to sail before you had a sailboat?
No.
Okay.
No, I lied to the guy that I bought the boat from. He's like, I'm only going to sail the boat to someone that knows how to sail. And I was like, hey, man, no worries. I know how to sail. He's like, all right, well, we're going to go sailing right now so I can show you the boat. The whole time I was like, oh, please don't ask me to do anything. Yeah. I was just like writing.
So you just watched him?
So you put your mast up like that? Interesting. I do it differently. So then he gave me the boat and I was like, it tried to kill me a bunch of times, but that was just like me putting myself in the fire and learning tons of lessons until I was like, taking all my friends sailing in the Bay Area, and we were just having the best days. And it was like, it took me 3 years to learn how to sail. Yeah. But it was for sure scary the first like year taking it out. Yeah. Oh man, I was terrified every time. I was like, all right, this is probably when I die. Right.
You're like, so if Odysseus did use the wind, maybe I can do it like he did.
I was like, how do you sail with the wind coming at you? That doesn't even make sense. And you're like, you're supposed to do that. I'm like, that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, there's no motor on the boat. And
it was definitely a mind, it screwed with my mind, but it was something that I was like, well, obviously they've been doing this forever, so it's not the impossible task here. I just need to dig in and do it. So I was able to do that.
I'm noticing a pattern here. You dive in without knowing much or any. Yeah. Sailboat, electrician in the military, right? Realtor.
Yeah.
There
is a common theme.
Yeah, there's a common theme.
Yeah, it's definitely spurred from my father. My father was very afraid of everything. Everything was scary, and that's what he taught me. And so when I was old enough to realize I can make my own decisions, I was like, why am I supposed to be scared? And so from then on, I was like, all right, everything that's scary, I should probably do and experience it myself and have my own opinions. So then I started pursuing everything that was scary. I typed in scariest job in the world, and then commercial diver came up, and I was like, all right, sign up for school. And I went to Florida, and I went to the commercial dive school. It's like, this isn't even that scary. This is fun. Yeah. It was just kind of that pattern is definitely a motivator for me of just like, why is it scary? Why are these things perceived as hard or impossible? Why am I told that? And then I'll kind of find out for myself.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. My brain is telling me, don't go back to it. But I have to also mention, like, you did all the research after your mom passed away too. Like you put yourself through that as well. So you put yourself through, through that, through military, through the courses, through realtor. I mean, what's the next step for you? Like you're leaning into things. You're putting yourself out there. Like what's the next bucket list path you want to take?
Well, that was kind of like my younger years were my bucket list. I was like, I want to knock these big things out while I have energy. Okay. And once I'm like knocked out a bunch, then I'm just going to be a cool dad. And then I'm going to anchor down. And that's probably going to be the biggest, scariest thing. That's next is to start a family. That's important for me. No. And also I'm able to back up what I say for my kids with my own life experience, which I think for me is important, that I want to be, able to back up what I say and kind of give like a cool story and be a cool dad. I think that's important when you got a cool dad. Like,
hey Dad, tell us about that time you went sailing down over here. And you're like, oh man.
Some of the stories I can't share. Yeah. But that makes a cool dad.
It's legal in open waters, but illegal in the countries.
Yeah, man, there are different rules. Rules.
I could just imagine like a flashback of when you're telling the story, kind of like a little flashback. You're like running from the cops or something, like jump on the boat. Let's go. It's a non-windy day.
Yeah, we got some fun ones. So in regards of like, I don't know, I did some cool things, and I was very happy that I did them when I was young. It made my life, starting up and figuring out my life, it prolonged that because I was just experiencing life. And for me, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to experience it. While I didn't have any like attachments of like marriage or family, I wanted to have that experience on my own. So I just spent years doing that, and now you're like, all right, well, now I'm in my 30s, and I think that's, for me, I'm ready to do that other part of life where all my friends have already got kids and they're married, but I'm like, hey, when are you going to hit your bucket list?
Right.
Are you going to do it when your kids are 16 years old and now you're feeling like you need a midlife crisis, or are you going to do it when you're 65?
Yeah.
Is that ever going to happen for you? It happens to a lot of people. I mean, all those guys that I saw sailing, all these old dudes, they're literally by themselves on a sailboat, and they're like doing the thing that they always wanted to do. It's like they're divorced, and all their kids, they don't know where they are, and it's just like a sad, salty story. And I'm like, I don't want I want to take my kids sailing.
Yeah.
I want to do that experience with them and share that with them. I don't want to be like, all right, I'm finally getting my dreams. So that's just how I wanted to live my life, and so here we are.
Yeah. No, it's a good goals, good dreams, good path. I think it's fun. I think it's not just fun, but it's like a learning thing that you did. You put yourself through all that stuff. And honestly, if anybody ever asks, like, so what's the lesson here? What would you tell them?
If I was to tell anyone a life lesson,
don't be a little. Just kidding.
I don't know. I feel like a good life lesson is to lean into what you're afraid of, because that's probably where the biggest lessons are.
Yeah.
Is you'll find out more about yourself than if you leaned into things that you're comfortable with. That's been my experience, and I think that from what I've seen of people's life stories and the things that they've gone through, most people learn through hard things. Those difficult situations and times is where people get the most out of life, where they really learn who they are and they really start appreciating life more, is when it starts feeling hard.
Right.
That's probably my gem.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So one more time, where can they find you on Instagram, social media? You can even say your phone number since you're a realtor now. Yeah,
I can. I'm getting hit with a bunch of texts from all these numbers that I'm thinking that are probably not people. But yes, so I'm on Instagram, Abraham Slezak, R-E. Slezak is spelled Slezak. And I've got a YouTube if you want to see me doing a bunch of sailing. That's called WNC Bros. WNC Bros, one phrase. And you can reach out if you have real estate questions or you want to talk about the book, or anyone going through kind of chemotherapy, cancer, disease. Definitely would love to connect and talk about that. And I want to be of service and be able to help others. So, my phone number.
You don't have to say it if you want to.
My phone number is 805-458-0950. And you're welcome to reach out anytime before 10 p.m. and after 5 a.m., please. Yeah. But thank you, Miguel, for this opportunity, for the conversation. Thank you for doing it again. And
we got it right this time.
So yeah. I'm very happy for how this went, and thank you.
Thank you, man.